ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतान् शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Dear friends, we are in this ninth shloka, ninth mantra of second adhyaya, second valli in Kathopanishad. Second adhyaya, second valli and ninth mantra, we were just reading the avatarika, that is the introductory lines. And Shankaracharya was just referring to the Tarkikas and how the people whose minds are shaken by all the false arguments of all these Tarkikas, those people who are influenced by the false arguments or the specious arguments of all these Tarkikas, how they are not able to appreciate this Atmaikatva Vijnanam. So the context here is Atmaikatva Vijnanam. In the earlier mantra also we saw Tasmin Lokas Shritas Sarve Tadunatyeti Kaschana. So in that Atma, all the Lokas, all these states of experience, they are all contained in that Atma. Atma means the consciousness. Self means the consciousness, the intelligence. What we call the intelligence or consciousness is one and the same. The intelligence which is in me and the intelligence which is in some other person, which is in you or in some other person, some professor, some other scientist or some other person, the intelligence is same. The intelligence in the animal also is same. The intelligence in a dog, the intelligence in an ant, the intelligence in a human being, intelligence in everybody is one and the same. There is no difference in intelligence. So that is the basic thing. So Atmaikatva, when we say Atma, that Chit or intelligence or consciousness is one and the same, which is there in all things. So that is what the point. And then, but the Tarkikas, they don't appreciate it. They don't say that intelligence is one. They say that the selves or Atmas are many. And in that context, the commentator on Shankaracharya's commentary, there is again another commentary which I have been telling. Anandagiri is one sage, one saint who has written commentaries on all the bhashyas of Shankaracharya. On all these commentaries of Shankaracharya, whether it is Gita Bhashyam or Upanishad Bhashyam or Brahma Sutra Bhashyam, Anandagiri has written commentary. So Anandagiri has quoted one shloka from Sankhya Karika. I was just reading this Sankhya Karika in the last class. Sankhya Karika is a very small book written by one writer called Ishvara Krishna. And that is on the lines of Sankhya Sutras. Sankhya Sutras were originally propounded by Kapila Muni. And those sutras, people say that those sutras are not available, and the present book which is available in the name of Sankhya Sutra is not by Kapila Maharshi. I do not know, I don't go into that because I do not know about the authenticity of that book. But then there is a book called Sankhya Karika, which is supposed to, Karika, we know Karika is some sort of explanatory shloka on an aphorism. Sutra is an aphorism. Karika is a sort of explanatory shloka, explanatory verse on, an aphorism. So Sankhya Karikas are some shlokas written by this Ishvara Krishna, who belonged to some 1st century BC. And at that time, his thought was so predominant, it influenced the intellectual scene of that particular day. So that is what people, this same thing, Sankhya Karika was translated into Tibetan, and from Tibetan it went to Chinese. So like that, there is a big history about this Sankhya house, and this Sankhya philosophy spread to various religions. And I was also telling about Jesus Christ, who was also influenced by this, Sankhya Karika, because he was one man who suddenly came from somewhere and then stayed for some time somewhere, and then he is supposed to have assimilated some ideas. So this is something which is history, we need not go into that. So what the point cited here is Janma Marana Karananam Pratiniyamat Yugapad Apravruttescha. Okay, the points told in that shloka are, these Sankhyas, they also follow the Tarkika. The Tarka means logic. Sankhyas also, they follow the Tarka procedure. So they say that you find so many different human beings, and all these different human beings, they are having birth and death, isn't it? And that birth and death is not coming to them simultaneously. If Atma is one and the same in all, birth and death also has to come simultaneously. Janma marana karananam pratiniyamad yugapad apravruttescha yugapat. It is not happening simultaneously to all these people. Then Traigunya Viparyayam also is there. That is, there is multiple combinations, an infinite variety of combinations, infinite combinations of the Sattva, Rajas and Tamoguna is found in all these beings. So how can you say that Atma is one and the same? So that is the Hetu. That is the Hetu means, Hetu is reason, logic. That is the reason given by these logicians. So when when logicians put forward an argument, Shankaracharya also counters it by logic only. Because you are fighting in a particular style of fighting. Shankaracharya also wants to fight in the same style of fighting. So he says that you have advanced a particular type of argument. You have advanced a particular reason. Hetu. Hetu means a reason. A reason is say what the logicians, if we can go into some little bit of logic. Say for example, I see a hill there, and I deduce or I infer that there is some fire in that on that hill. How do I infer? I don't directly see the fire, but I see some smoke, isn't it? After seeing that smoke, so then the smoke and fire, that avinabhava sambandha, that relationship, that cause-effect relationship, that is there in my mind. Yatra yatra dhumaha tatra tatra agnihi. Wherever there is a smoke, there is fire. So that is something which flashes in my mind. So I immediately say, yes, there is fire there, because I see some smoke. I find that I come to a conclusion that there is some fire. So but here, what is it that the logician is doing? Logician is saying, Atma is having a birth and also death. Atma also is having so many, so much of variation because of these three gunas. The combination of these three gunas, Atma is found so different, so divergent. How can you say that Atma is one? What Shankaracharya says is, your Hetu, your reason itself is wrong. Your observation itself is wrong. It is not the Atma which is not undergoing this birth and death. It is the body-mind complex which is undergoing birth and death. It is the body-mind complex which is the result of all this Traigunya, this Triguna, what is this? Traigunya Viparyaya. That is a multiple combination of these three gunas that is seen only in this body-mind complex and not in the Atma. Your observation that there is fire on that hill, that itself is wrong. It is not hill. So that is it. You are saying that in that Atma, there is this birth and death. It is not Atma in which birth and death is there. It is that body-mind complex. So that is how Shankaracharya says. So that explanation is given by Anandagiri in Anandagiri's commentary. So here, let us, if we read this Shankaracharya's line, in the last class we read this line, I was supposed to explain this line. This line is, Aneka tarkika kubuddhi vichalitantah karananam Pramanopapanamapi Atmaikatva Vijnanam Asakrud Uchyamanamapi. So this is the line. So what is it we are seeing here? So these people, he is referring to those people whose minds are actually disturbed or shaken or unsettled by the false arguments of these logicians. Aneka Tarkika Kubuddhi Vichalita. That is Kubuddhi. Tarkika Kubuddhi means all this dirty mind. Kubuddhi. Buddhi means intelligence. Kubuddhi means dirty intelligence, or say their crooked intelligence, let us say. Kubuddhi. Vichalita. Vichalita means shaken. Vichalita. Antahkarananam. Those whose antahkarana has been shaken by the kubuddhi, that is the false minds, or the bad, the evil influence, let us say, of these Tarkikas. And for them what is happening? Pramanopapannamapi. Pramanena upapannamapi. Though it has been established by Pramana. Pramana upapannamapi. Though it has been established by Pramana. What is the Pramana? Shruti several times it is telling on your face, Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi. It is telling on your face, you are that, you are that. Here also we have seen etad vaitat, this indeed is that, this indeed is that, isn't it? And then aham brahmasmi and all that, that is also saying. So pramana upapannamapi, then atmaikatva vijnanam, this knowledge that atma is one and the same. Atma means intelligence or consciousness is one and the same in all people, because consciousness cannot be too many. Consciousness or intelligence can be only one, it cannot be too many, isn't it? So this atmaikatva vijnanam asakrut uchyamanamapi. Asakrut means several times, repeatedly. Asakrut uchyamanamapi means that though it is being told repeatedly, though the Shruti is telling again and again. In fact, in the Chandogya Upanishad, the Tattvamasi statement appears 9 times. 9 examples are given. Tattvamasi Shveta Ketu, O Shveta Ketu, you are that. So 9 times it is told by his father. So like that, similarly in other Upanishads also. Uchyamanamapi, Anruju Buddhinam Brahmananam. Anruju Buddhi, Na plus Ruju Buddhi. Ruju Buddhi means, Ruju means straightforward. Ruju Buddhi means one who has that intellectual honesty, one who has got a straightforward thinking. You have got that open-mindedness. You have, with all open mind, you take an argument. If there is a right argument from your opponent also, you take it. So that is a Ruju Buddhi. So here, Anruju Buddhinam Brahmananam, these people who are interested only in this, seeing diversity, those who are interested in seeing diversity, they are not applying their minds in an honest manner. They are not showing that intellectual honesty which is required. So, Anruju Buddhinam, those who do not have that straight thinking. Anruju Buddhi means those who do not have a straight thinking. Ruju means straight. Ruju Buddhi. Ruju Buddhinam Brahmananam. Brahmana, incidentally it is mentioned. All these Brahmanas, all these people who do this Brahmavada, those people who they also talk about Brahman. Brahmanas is referring to all the people who talk about the Brahman, all the people who talk about the nature of the Brahman. These people, they don't have a straight thinking. So that is the meaning here. Brahmananam chetasi na adhiyate. It doesn't go into their minds. It doesn't get into their minds because their minds are so opaque. They have closed their minds. They don't have open minds. Chetasi na adhiyate. It doesn't get into their brains. That is it. Na adhiyate iti. Tat pratipadane adaravati punah punaha aha shrutihi. Tat pratipadane adaravati means in order to postulate it. Tat pratipadanam. Pratipadanam means postulation. Pratipadane adaravati. The Shruti is having a lot of interest. Shruti is showing so much of keenness. Adara. Keenness. Interest. Adaravati purah punaha aha shrutihi. The Shruti is telling again and again. So he is again, there is an example given by the Shruti. This example also we are seeing that all this difference we see is only because of the Upadhi. Upadhi we know. Upadhi is something which is a sort of delimiting factor. This body-mind complex is an Upadhi for that Chaitanya. Just as a flower, a red flower is an Upadhi for that crystal. Crystal doesn't have this color. This red flower, it is imparting its dharma, its characteristics onto this crystal. So likewise, this is something which is a production of Maya. All these upadhis which we see, the multiple upadhis, infinite number of upadhis which we see in the universe, these are just projections of that Maya, Trigunatmika Maya, which we have seen. This Trigunatmika Maya only is from the three gunas, some emergence of this appearance of this Akasha, Vayu, etc., etc., etc. And because of that, all these say multiple appearances. So in these things, these are serving as upadhis for the same Chaitanya. So that is the thing which is being told in the next mantra. Let us read this mantra. Agnir yathaiko bhuvanam pravishto. Rupam rupam pratirupo babhuva. Ekastatha sarvabhutantaratma. Rupam rupam pratirupo bahischa. So he is giving the example of Agni. Just it is a simple example. Agni, we know this, the fire is there. Fire which is there, found in so many places in the world. But then when it burns, how does it burn? Suppose I take a sort of rectangular object and then burn it. So the fire also burns in that rectangular shape. I take some circular object and then burn it, the fire also comes in a circular shape. I take a stick and then burn it, that fire also comes in the shape of a long stick. So likewise, depending on the object in which fire is located or in which it is, which is burning, the fire also takes a shape, isn't it? So likewise, Sarvabhutantaratma, this Atma, this intelligence which is there in every body, Sarvabhuta Antara Antaha Atma. So this Atman which is there in everybody, in the form of this Antaratma, whatever you call it, in that Buddhi Guha, in the mind, in that intellect, whatever that say in that intellect, that Atma which is present in that intellect. So this is taking that particular shape, just as a fire takes the shape of an object which it is burning. Similarly, this all-pervading Atman, this all-pervading intelligence or consciousness, it is taking the shape of a particular object which it is getting into. So it is into every object. So it is taking the shape of that particular object. It is as simple as that. So let us see. Agnihi yatha yekaha. Agnir yathaiko is Agnihi yatha yekaha. That is Agnir yathaiko. That is one Agni. Yatha means just as yatha bhuvanam pravishtaha. Bhuvanam pravishtaha. That is, it has entered these objects, all these multiple objects. Bhuvanam actually means world. Bhuvanam pravishtaha means it is entering, getting into different objects, let us say. Bhuvanam pravishtaha yatha agnihi yekaha sun. That is, Agni is one and one only. Yekaha agnihi, one only. This one Agni only. It is getting into different objects, and Rupam Rupam Pratirupaha Babhuva. Rupam Rupam means according to their shapes. Rupam Rupam, that is according to the shape of a particular object. Pratirupaha Babhuva. Pratirupaha. It is becoming a similar, it is assuming a similar shape. It is assuming a similar shape. Depending on the shape of the object which it is entering, it is assuming a similar shape. Rupam Rupam Pratirupo Babhuva. Then Babhuva means it became. It became is in past tense, but you can take it in present tense. It becomes, just as it becomes. Rupam Rupam Pratirupo Babhuva. Though it is in past tense, Babhuva means it became. But we have to take it in the present tense. It is becoming like that. Just as we see that fire, whatever object it comes to, it takes the same shape. It assumes the same shape. Then Yekaha Tatha Sarvabhutantaratma. Tatha means likewise. Yekaha. Yekaha. Who is that Yekaha? Sarvabhutantaratma. This one particular Atman, this one particular consciousness or intelligence which is there in every being. Sarvabhuta. Bhuta means being. In every being. Rupam Rupam Pratirupo Bahishya. Rupam Rupam. According to their shape, it is there. And then Pratirupaha. It is really assuming, it appears to be assuming that state, and then Bahishya. Bahishya means, and it is beyond that. It also transcends it. Rupam Rupam, this Bahishya, we have to note carefully. Rupam Rupam Pratirupaha. When we say Rupam Rupam Pratirupaha, it may mean Agni, of course, it is undergoing some, it is assuming the shape of a particular object. So, and then we may feel that this Atma is also undergoing some sort of modification. Atma is undergoing some sort of vikara. So, the Atma is something which cannot undergo a vikara. So, it is assuming, it is appearing as though it is assuming different states. So, that is why he is saying Bahishya. That is, it is beyond that. It is there in the bodies and also beyond that. Bahihi cha. Bahishya. That is beyond that. So, this intelligence is also transcendental. It transcends the limitations of these upadhis. It is there in the upadhi, it transcends the upadhi. So that is the meaning here. So here the point mentioned is the difference which we see in the whole universe is difference due to the upadhi and not due to not the essential difference. Essentially it is one and the same. The tattva is one and the same. The tattva is not different. So that is the point here. So let us see the bhashyam. Agnihi yatha ekayeva prakashatmasan
प्रकाशात्मा सन्
भुवनं
भुवनं
भवन्ति अस्मिन् भूतानि इति भुवनं
भवन्ति अस्मिन् भूतानि इति भुवनम्
अयं लोकः तम् इमं प्रविष्टः
अयं लोकः तम् इमं प्रविष्टः
अनुप्रविष्टः
अनुप्रविष्टः
रूपं रूपं
रूपं रूपं
प्रति दार्वादिदाह्यभेदं प्रति इत्यर्थः
प्रति दार्वादिदाह्यभेदं प्रति इत्यर्थः.
Okay, we will stop here. Agnihi yatha. Yatha means just as. Eka eva agnihi. That is one and only one Agni. Prakashatma. Prakashatma means which is shining in nature. Prakasha Atma. Here Atma does not mean intelligence or consciousness. Prakashatma, which is shining in nature. It is a body which shines. Atma has to be taken in the sense of body. A body which shines. Prakashatma. That which is shining in nature. Prakashatma sun, by being like that. Bhuvanam pravishtaha. He is also giving the meaning of Bhuvanam. Bhuvanam means Bhavanti asmin bhutani iti Bhuvanam. That is all the beings, Bhutani, all the beings, asmin bhavanti, they stay in this, they emerge in this, they come into existence in this. So that is what is the meaning of Bhuvanam. Bhuvana, you must be knowing the meaning of Bhuvana. Bhuvana means the universe. Bhuvana is universe. So asmin bhutani iti Bhuvanam. Ayam lokaha, that is this world, the world which we see, the universe which we see. Then tam imam pravishtaha anupravishtaha. And then in this thing, the Agni is appearing. Anupravishtaha means it is appearing in this universe everywhere. Agni is it is universally seen, isn't it? In every body, Agni is seen. Some with varying degrees. Then Rupam prati darvadi dahya bhedam prati ityartha. Rupam prati means with respect to each shape. Rupam prati with respect to each shape. He is also giving an example. Daru adi dahya bhedam prati. Darvadi is daru plus adi. Daru means a stick. Daru is a stick. Daru adi, stick, etc. You take a stick and then burn it. Agni appears in that shape. You take some other object and burn, Agni appears in that shape. So like that. Darvadi dahya bhedam. Dahya bhedam means dahya is the object that is being burnt. Dahyam. Daha dhatu is to burn. Dahya is the object which is being burnt. So dahya bhedam prati. So the object which is being burned, if it is different, Agni also is taking a different shape. Then pratirupaha. Tatra pratirupavan. Dahya bhedena bahuvidho babhuva. Okay. Pratirupaha tatra, that is assuming a similar shape. Pratirupa is actually an image. Pratibimba, pratirupam is actually an image. So here of course it is not an image because it is not an example of a mirror. So pratirupa is similar shape. Similar shape it is assuming. And then pratirupavan, dahya bhedena, that is depending on the difference in that object which is being burned, it takes a different shape. Bahuvidhaha babhuva. Then ekayeva tatha sarvabhutantaratma sarvesham bhutanam abhyantara atma ati sukshmatvat darvadishviva sarvadeham prati pravishtatvat pratirupo babhuva bahischa svena avikrutena swarupena akashavat. So here it is saying eka eva tatha likewise sarva bhutantaratma sarvesham bhutanam abhyantaraha atma. Sarvesham bhutanam means in of all the beings. Abhyantara means inside. Abhyantara, in Telugu we use the word wrongly. Abhyantara we say objection. It is not objection. Abhi plus antara, that is abhyantara is inside. Abhyantara, Atma, that Atma which is inside in the Buddhi Guha of every being. In that Buddhi Guha of every being. Then Ati Sukshmatvat. Sukshmatvam is subtleness. Because it is very subtle. Because it is very subtle in nature. Darvadishviva sarvave deham prati pravishtatvat. Just as Agni enters into all these say objects like this daru, like this stick, etc. Sarvadeham prati pravishtatvat. It is this Atma also has entered all these deha. Deha means all these bodies. Pravishtatvat. Pratirupo babhuva. It has become it is appearing in the same shape, it is appearing in the same form. Then pratirupo babhuva bahischa svena avikrutena rupena akashavat. But bahischa, it is again transcending. Svena avikrutena rupena, it has got its own avikruta rupa. What has appeared in the body is a vikruta rupa. Vikruta means that which has undergone a change. Vikruta does not mean ugly. Vikruta means vikaram krutam. That is vikruta. That is that which has undergone some, it looks as though it has undergone some modification. But then outside you can see the avikruta rupa. In fact, in Brahma Sutras again, there is one adhyaya which talks about the size or pramana. Pramana means the size of Atma. What is the size of Atma in a human being? So there is a big discussion on that. Atma is always Vibhu. There are so many Purvapakshas there. Atma is of the size of an atom. Anupramana, somebody says Atma is of the size of the body. The Jains, for example, they say Pudgalam, they say. Pudgala means a particular body. A Pudgala is a particular body only. So the Atma is of the size of a body. Then a question comes, if Atma is of the size of a body, suppose an ant becomes an elephant in the next Janma, then how will this ant, if you go and fit into that elephant, or rather elephant and vice versa, elephant, how can an elephant fit into this? And then the Tarkika says Atma is Anupramana, Atma is the size of an atom. Then the Vedantins say it is not like that. Atma is nothing but intelligence. Intelligence is something which is all pervasive. It is Vibhu Pramana, it says, they say. So that is why Atma is something which is Vibhu Pramana. This Jiva, as we say, this Jiva may be identifying himself with the body-mind complex, that's a different thing. But then his real nature is, he is Vibhu. His real nature, he may not be knowing, but then he is Vibhu. He is something which is aparichinna. There is no parichinnata for that Atma. So that is what Vedanta says. Atma is Vibhu Pramana. Because Atma means intelligence only. Intelligence is something which is all pervading. Then, Tatha Anyo Drushtantaha. Another example. Likewise, Tatha means likewise. Another example. Let us read. Vayuryathaiko bhuvanam pravishto. Rupam rupam pratirupo bahuva. Ekastatha sarva bhutantaratma. Rupam rupam pratirupo bahischa. Okay, this is again on the same lines. It is a very simple mantra. Then earlier mantra we saw the example of fire. Here it is the example of Vayu, air. Vayuhu yatha ekaha bhuvanam pravishtaha. Just as the Agni is there in everybody. In fact, I should have told about this Vaishwanara Agni also. Agni is something which is there in every body, in every human being. Say the Agni which is there in us, it is called Vaishwanara Agni. And Agni Sthanam, we were seeing in the Gita Bhashya, Agni Sthanam is this Manipura Chakra. In that Gita Bhashya, right now we are talking about these chakras, the 6 chakras in the body. And this Manipura Chakra is something which corresponds to Agni, this fire Tattva. All the food which we take, it goes here. And then this is the mechanism. Of course, it is the lungs. Science, of course, modern science says that it is the lungs, the oxygen we breathe in, and that is what produces this heat mechanism in us, in our bodies. And then this again is linked to whatever is taking place in the stomach. But then, okay, by general observation, our ancestors, they have thought that this is the seat for this, of course, undoubtedly this is the seat for digestion, and for digestion heat is very much required. And that heat is called Vaishwanara Agni. So that is why when we take food also, we just offer food to the Prana Hutulu, we say, Pranaya Swaha, Apanaya Swaha, Vyanaya Swaha, Udanaya Swaha, Samanaya Swaha. We take 5 small, morsels, not morsel, 5 a grain of rice, and then you just throw into the mouth. I was thinking with the bhavana, visualizing that it is not you who are eating, it is the Vaishwanara Agni. You are doing a sort of homa. Whatever you are eating is a sort of ahuti which you are giving to that Vaishwanara who is present in your body. So every religion has its own style of eating. So for example, other religions, they thank God, oh Lord, thank you for the bread and whatnot. So we say, I am not the body-mind complex. This is this body. There is some fire located in it. This body has to be maintained. I am that supreme being. I am that supreme Chaitanya. But then it is also my duty to maintain that engine, this particular machine called the body-mind complex. So I am throwing some food into that. So bhikshaushadham bhujyatam. That is what Shankaracharya also says. This bhiksha has to be taken as aushadha. Bhiksha is something which is a medicine. It is taken like a medicine. You are not supposed to gobble up the food. You are not supposed to gluttonously eat. You are supposed to eat only that much which is required for the body, for the maintenance of the body. So that is it. So of course, the fighters, etc., they may their job is different. But we are now in the context of jnani. We are now in the context of an ordinary man, a disciplined man, and particularly we are in the context of a student of Vedanta. A student of Vedanta should not be a gluttonous fellow eating food. So he is supposed to take it in that form, doing a bhavana that whatever he is doing as a sort of homa. And that homa also, in one class I told, it is called Agnishtoma. What is there in this stomach is Agni, and the food which you are giving is a Soma. Agni plus Soma is called Agnishtoma. Agnishtoma is a particular yajna which is performed. So, in that Agnishtoma, those who are capable of doing that Agnishtoma yaga, they do that yaga. But then there are a few mantras at the time of eating food also. So with this bhavana, when you are putting food into the mouth, and then you are with this bhavana when you are eating, that you are only doing it as an offering to this Vaishwanara Agni in your stomach, then this person also gets that punyam of that Agnishtoma yaga. So that is what they say. So like that, this is a particular bhavana which we have in our tradition. So now we are coming to Vayu. So Vayu also, it has entered all the bodies. It has entered all the beings in the shape of this prana. We know this prana, apana, vyana, udana. There are 5 types of air in the body, which we saw in that Gita Bhashya. So this Vayu has entered the universe, and it has entered all the bodies, and it has taken the shape of those bodies only. You take a pot, and then in that pot there is Akasha. That Akasha or Vayu is not the context of Akasha. Let us say Vayu. Vayu, it appears to be in that particular pot. You take some other object, and then that Vayu, it takes the shape of that particular object. So like that. So Yatha Vayuhu Ekaha san, Ekassan, by being one only, Bhuvanam Pravishtaha, like earlier, it has entered the Bhuvanam. Rupam Pratirupo Babhuva. Depending on the shape of the object, it is assuming that particular shape. Then Ekaha Tatha Sarvabhutantaratma. This particular Atma which is there inside every being, Ekaha, that is Ekassan, by being one and only. The Shruti is so repeatedly saying. That is why Shankaracharya was very angry with these Tarkikas. Tarkika Kubuddhi Vichalita Antahkarananam. Those whose minds are shaken or disturbed by all this specious logic of the logicians, he was very angry. So, but again and again the Shruti is saying, Ekastatha Sarvabhutantaratma. In this mantra again, Ekastatha Sarvabhutantaratma, Rupam Pratirupo Bahishya. So, likewise, this Vayu also, it is there in the shape of prana in every being, and then it is outside also. Not only confined to the body, it is outside the body. This, just as Vayu is like that, this Atma is also like that. Atma is looking as though it is there in the body, but body is only an upadhi. Atma is it is all pervading, it is outside everywhere, inside, outside. Antar Bahishya Bhutanam, Vyapya Narayana Sthitaha. We say that mantra in that puja also. So, Vayur Yathaikaha Ityadi. Let us read the Bhashyam. Vayur Yathaika Ityadi.
Vayu Yathaika Ityadi.
Pranatmana Deheshu Anupravishtaha.
Pranatmana Deheshu Anupravishtaha.
Rupam Pratirupo Babhuva.
Rupam Pratirupo Babhuva.
Ityadi Samanam.
Ityadi Samanam.
Samanam. That is also not explaining all this explanation as earlier. So that is it. Vayuhu Yatha Pranatmana Deheshu Anupravishtaha. Pranatmana, in the form of. Here Atma does not mean self. Pranatmana is in the form of. in the shape of prana, in the form of prana it has entered, and then it is assuming the rupam of a particular object or a particular deham. Then a question arises, when you say that one and one only is there in every place, the logician puts one more question. Okay, if you are there in every bodies, then all the dukkha of all these bodies are also to be borne by you only. Suppose you are there in all bodies. When you are there in all bodies, then all the sukha and dukkha which is being experienced, that is all the misery of all these people, should also be in you only. All the miseries, you should also be suffering. The Atma also, have you not understood? The Atma also, all the miseries will be felt by the Atma only. So that is it. So, let us read. Ekasya sarvatmatve
ekasya sarvatmatve
samsara dukhitvam parasyaiva tad
samsara dukhitvam parasyaiva tad
iti praptam ataha idam uchyate. Okay, ekasya sarvatmatve. Here sarvatmatve sati, it is sati saptami. We have to add in brackets sati. Ekasya sarvatmatve sati, that is, while when you say that ekam is there, which is present in all the beings, ekasya sarvatmatve sati means, when you say that, or if you say that one is there in all beings, in that situation a particular contingency arises. What is the contingency? The contingency which arises is samsara dukhitvam parasyaiva brahmanaha. Parasyaiva means parasya, para is supreme, para means supreme Brahman. Parasyaiva means parasyaiva brahmanaha. Brahmanaha is understood here. Samsara dukhitvam parasyaiva brahmanaha. All this samsara dukhitvam, the misery of the whole world should be there in Brahma also. So tad parasyaiva tad iti prapte, when that contingency arises. Iti prapte means when that situation arises, or when that argument comes. When such a situation arises, idam uchyate, therefore this is being told. So here in this next mantra, it is telling about the asangata. Asangata means how Atma is something which is unconnected, untainted with all these things. Then the example given is the sun's light. The sun's light is falling equally on all the things, and then it is not tainted by any of these things. So that is what is the example given. Let us read the mantra. Suryo yatha sarvalokasya chakshuhu nalipyate chakshushair bahyadoshaih ekastatha sarvabhutantaratma nalipyate lokadukkhena bahyah. So here the example is that of Surya. Surya yatha sarvalokasya chakshuhu. Surya is supposed to be the chakshu. Chakshu means eye. He is the eye of the entire universe. Surya is supposed to be the eye of course, let us not talk about all the whole cosmos. Let us limit ourselves to Earth right now. Sarvalokasya chakshuhu. He is the chakshu. He is the eye for all the world. In fact, in Amarakosha, if you have read Amarakosha, there are some all these synonyms for Surya. Sura, Surya, Yamaditya, Dvadashatma, Vibhakaraha. Like that, all these synonyms will be there in all this in this Amarakosha. There, Karma Sakshi, Jagatchakshuhu. Those names are also there. Karma Sakshi. He is a Sakshi. He is a witness for all the activities which go on in the world. Surya is supposed to be the witness for all these things which go on in the world. So that is why we see in our old films, Surya Chandra Sakshiga, we say, then because Surya and Chandra, they are supposed to be witnesses. Surya during the day and Chandra during the night. So I am doing this pramana, I am taking this oath. Surya and Chandra being the witnesses, because they are the people who are witnesses who are there. All through the day, this gentleman is a witness, and in the night, Chandra is a witness. So like that. So Suryo yatha sarvalokasya chakshuhu. He is called Jagat Chakshu, because he is the one who is seeing the whole world. It is only a metaphorical way. It is a metaphorical way of saying that sarvalokasya chakshuhu na lipyate chakshushaihi bahyadosaihi. Na lipyate. Na lipyate means lepanam. Lepanam means painting, rubbing, putting an ointment, that is lepanam. You put an ointment, that is called lepanam. Na lipyate means he is not tainted, he is untouched. not tainted. He doesn't acquire any blemish. So that is the meaning. Na lipyate chakshusaihi bahya doshaihi. There are two things here. Chakshusaihi doshaihi, bahya doshaihi. Chakshusaihi doshaihi means the chakshu also has some defects. Suppose somebody's eyes are defective. He is not able to see properly. So that also produces some defective image, isn't it? Chakshushair doshaihi. That chakshu dosham is also there. Then bahya dosham also is there. Bahya dosha means the outside all the objects, all the dirty things are there. So with all these things, Surya is not affected. Surya is not tainted. So there are people who are there on this earth. These people, they may be having their own defective eyes. Surya is of course shining equally. You are having very good eyesight and then you are able to see a thing properly. Somebody else who is not having a good eyesight, who is having a defective eyesight, he is not able to see properly. But Surya is unaffected either by your sight or by that gentleman's sight. Unaffected by this chakshusaihi doshaihi, that is by all the defects of these eyes. Then similarly by all these bahya doshaihi. Bahya doshaihi means outside there may be some filth, some other place, some other good thing, some other bad thing, all dirty things and good things, all types of things may be taking place. You are affected, whereas the Surya is not affected. You are affected by seeing certain ugly things. You may get some punyam or papam by seeing something, but then the Surya is not affected. So likewise, so chakshusaihi bahya doshaihi, then yekaha tatha sarvabhutantaratma. This sarvabhutantaratma being one and the same, this intelligence or consciousness which is one and the same in all beings, na lipyate lokadukhena bahyaha. That is something which is asanga. Na lipyate, it does not get tainted by this loka dukkha. Loka dukkha means by the misery of this world. Loka dukkhena bahyaha. It transcends. In the earlier shloka, in the earlier mantras we saw bahishya. So the same thing is told here. Na lipyate, it is bahyaha. It is outside. It transcends. So the Surya is neither a karta nor a karayita. That karayitrutvam is not there. He is neither a karta nor a karayita also. So similarly, this Atma is something which is asanga. Whatever kartrutva, bhoktrutva is there is depending on your own, it is because of your own identification or tadatmyam with the body-mind complex. The jiva is getting tadatmyam or he is identifying himself with the body-mind complex. So that is why he is having some enjoyment sometimes, some misery sometimes, all types of this kartrutva, bhoktrutva feeling he is having. All these things are his own making. Tadatmyam is identification. Tadatmyam, tat atma, tadatmyam, tadeva atma iti bhavaha, tadatmyam. So that is it. So this is something where this Atma is something, there is no Hetu Kartrutvam also. That is, it is not even directing you. It is not either, it is neither a Karta nor a Hetu Karta. Hetu Karta means, I direct you to do something. So then I become a Hetu Karta. You do a thing, you are a Karta. I direct you to do this, to do something, I become a Hetu Karta. So Surya is neither a Karta nor a Hetu Karta. Kartrutva, Bhoktrutva is only because of the ignorance of the Jiva who identifies himself with the body-mind complex. That is what Shankaracharya is going to say, and he is going to introduce one concept called Adhyasa. I don't think this Adhyasa has been discussed earlier by Shankaracharya, but anyway, in this commentary, he is going to discuss it. So let us read it. Suryo yatha Chakshushaha alokena upakaram kurvan Mutra purishad yashuchi prakashanena taddarshinaha prakashanena taddarshinaha sarvalokasya chakshurapi san na lipyate chakshusaihi ashuchyadi darshana nimittaihi आध्यात्मिकैः दोषैः बाह्यैश्च अशुच्यादि संसर्ग दोषैः. We'll stop here. So Suryah yatha chakshushaha alokena upakaram kurvan. Yatha means just as Suryah. Then alokena. Aloka means light. Aloka means light. Loka is different, aloka is different. Loka is a world which we think. Lokyate iti lokaha. Aloka means light. Alokena means by providing light, by means of light. Chakshushaha upakaram kurvan. He is helping the eye. Chakshushaha is in Shashti Vibhakti. Chakshu is the word. Chakshushaha is Shashti Vibhakti. Chakshushaha upakaram kurvan. Who? The sun. How is he doing it? Alokena. By providing light, he is helping the eye. In the sense that he is enabling us to see all these things which are there, good, bad, ugly, all things he is enabling us to see that. Then kurvan. Mutra Purishad Yashuchi Prakashanena Taddarshinaha. Taddarshinaha means to the one who sees it. To the one who sees. Tat Darshinaha. Darshi is the word. Darshinaha is Shashti Vibhakti. Tat Darshinaha means for the one who is seeing. For the one who is seeing all the objects. He is focusing or throwing light on all these things, good, bad, ugly things. What are all these things? Mutra Purisha Adi Ashuchi Prakashanena. Here somewhere some Mutra, Purisha. Shankaracharya, of course, he has chosen some examples of some ugliness. So Mutra is urine. Purisha means excrement. Excrement, there is a Mutra and Purisha. Excrement, if you do not know, you can note down. Excrement. Ashuchi Prakashanena. Ashuchi means Ashubhra. All these things are supposed to be Ashuchi. Ashubhra, that is unclean, dirty. All these, he is showing all these things. Then Sarvalokasya Chachurapi San. Though, I mean, by being the Lokasya Chakshu, by being the eye for the entire universe, for the entire world, even then, Nalipyate, he doesn't get tainted by Chakshushaihi, Ashuchyadi, Darshana Nimittaihi, Adhyatmikaihi, Papadoshaihi. There are certain things which are told in our Dharma Shastras. Of course, seeing this Mala and Mutra is not Malam. Excrement is Malam. I did not get the proper word. Okay, Chakshushaihi, Doshaihi. What this Chakshushaihi, Doshaihi, he is making a small distinction between the Adhyatmikaihi, Doshaihi. That is, our Shastras say that we are not supposed to see certain things. If you see those things, you will incidentally get some papam. For example, there is some naked woman. You are not supposed to see. Maybe by chance you may just see, but then in order to avoid that papam, you are supposed to look at the sun. You are supposed to look at the sun and then say, forget about it. So you are not supposed to ogle and then you are not supposed to show interest in seeing that. So by this standard, you cannot see TV today. TVs, they always show these half-naked women and then gyrating and then showing their bodies in the ugliest manner. In fact, our TVs, particularly the Indian TV, is the ugliest. Indian TV, I do not know why. We say, all our Dharma Shastras are there, we tell so many morals and all that. But then all our Indian TV, it is overtaken by all types of ugly fellows. And then we show the ugliest things only. In fact, the English TVs are English movies, English TVs are much better because they do not show human being in such an ugly way. They have a respect for the human being. Whereas we show a woman as an object of say sex and then we present her in that way. Of course, English also there may be some channels, but normally an English movie is more decent than a Telugu movie. So that is that's what we see. And English TV is more decent than a Telugu TV because here you present the woman in the ugliest form. So what Dharma Shastra says is, if you look at women in such form, you get some incidentally you will get some papam. You see something on the screen, suppose something which is not supposed to be shown on the screen. For example, we have got Natya Shastra which was written by Bharata Muni sometime in say 1st or 2nd century AD or BC. The exact time is date is disputed. It is supposed to be somewhere prior to Christ. So in that Natya Shastra also there are certain norms. That is, you can show this on the stage, you cannot show this on the stage. Say too much of violence, you are not supposed to, murder, straight away somebody killing somebody, you are not supposed to show on the stage. And then this women being presented in an ugly manner, you are not supposed to show it on the stage. The showing also is bad, seeing also is bad. So these are the things which result in Adhyatmika dosha. And when you get these doshas, then you are supposed to do some prayaschitta for that. if you accidentally see something like that, the Parayaschitta is you just look at the sun and then say sorry or something like that, and then that is okay. Incidentally, you may get some punya also in some other situations. There are certain situations. Suppose you are passing by. Suppose you are even an atheist. Assume that you are an atheist. And then you are just passing by, and then suppose there is some puja which is going on in a particular place there, and incidentally you just stand there for some time, and then you just listen to certain things, and then something about say about that puja or the greatness of the puja, something like that. So incidentally you are also getting some punya. So certain situations are mentioned in our books where say avashena means even without your effort, avashena you will get some papa, you may get some punya. So that is why you are say supposed to avoid certain things. We are not supposed to ogle at people. We are not supposed to see all these stupid things on the TV. So anyway, so here chakshushaihi ashuchyadi darshana nimittaihi adhyatmikaihi papadoshaihi. That is the meaning here. Adhyatmikaihi papadoshaihi. You are getting some papa. Papam is a sin. Papam is a dosha. Dosha means it is a defect. Papa doshai. How? Adhyatmikaihi doshai. Adhyatmika means that is relating to one's body, one's self. Adhyatmika, relating to one's self. How is it coming? Ashuchyadi darshana nimittaihi. By looking at all these ugly things, by looking at all these things, suppose somebody is having, suppose our films say show something which is immoral. Somebody is sleeping with somebody with whom he is not supposed to sleep. So that is a very immoral act. By seeing such immoral act also you will get some papam. So that is what we say. That is what we have to see in our dharma. That is what dharma shastras say. So this they result in adhyatmika dosha. But then the sun is not affected by all this adhyatmika dosha. Incidentally, the person who sees may be affected by that adhyatmika dosha. The sun who is enabling us to see all these things, he is not affected by all that. All this is referring to that Sakshi who is incidentally illuminating the body-mind complex, who is illuminating not body-mind complex, he is illuminating the Antahkarana. The Sakshi Chaitanya which is illuminating the Antahkarana and enabling to interact with all these things. The Sakshi is unaffected. So that is what we are arriving at. So, Chakshushaihi doshaihi. Bahyaischa asuchyadi samsarga doshaihi. Bahyaischa asuchyadi samsarga doshaihi. By that is samsarga dosha means coming into contact with a thing. When you come into contact with some ugly thing or say some dirty thing, you are supposed to clean yourself, you are supposed to take a bath. So this is something which by taking a bath and then by saying a couple of mantras or something like that, you get rid of that stupid thing, get rid of that situation. So, ekahatan, ekassan, tatha sarvabhutantaratma, na lipyate lokadukkhena bahyaha. So here, sarvabhutantaratma, we have left this Surya and we have come to this sarvabhutantaratma now. Ekassan, by being one only, what is that? Sarvabhutantaratma, this Atma, this consciousness, this intelligence being one and the one. And that Sakshi Chaitanya as you call it, then na lipyate lokadukkhena bahyaha. It is something which is outside. Na lipyate lokadukkhena. It is not tainted, it is not affected, it is not blemished, it doesn't say undergo any change, any vikara by all this lokadukha, that is by the misery of this world. Then here of course, here Shankaracharya is discussing this what is called adhyasa. Let us read this line. Lokohi avidyaya swatmani adhyastaya kamakarmodbhavam dukkham anubhavati natu sa paramarthatah swatmani. So this is a statement which Shankaracharya makes. Of course, Shankaracharya is not telling something on his own. Shankaracharya is telling on the authority of the Upanishads only, on the authority of what is there in the Upanishads. Say what Upanishads talk about Maya, what Upanishads talk about the emergence of this whole universe and all that, what Upanishads talk about the nature of Jiva, what Upanishads talk about the nature of Brahman, and what Upanishads talk about the equation between Jiva and Brahman. When you put all these things together, then what is the result? The result is that Brahmani Jagat Adhyastam. That is the doctrine. So Brahmani Jagat Adhyastam means this whole universe is an appearance in that Brahman. So this is what ultimately emerges. Ultimately emerges when we see all this, when you put 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4 together, the whole message of the Brahma Sutras, the whole message of the Gita, the whole message of all the Upanishads is that Brahman alone is real, and all other things which we see, they are appearances in Brahman. So that is what it means. And then of course there is other levels of truth. There is a second level of truth which is called religion, that is called Vyavaharika Satyam. Religion also is there. Religion also has to be accepted because the society has to go in a say in a proper manner, what is called Loka Sangraha. So there is, but at the Paramarthika level, all this thing is an appearance. So that is what is the say doctrine. So that is what he says. In fact, in what is this Brahma Sutra Bhashya, the very opening lines talk about this adhyasa, because that forms the focus, that forms the rather perspective, that forms the basic starting point of that is the perspective from which this whole Brahma Sutra has been analyzed. The Brahma Sutra, basically the whole doctrine of Brahma Sutra is contained in that Adhyasa Bhashya. It is called Adhyasa Bhashya. The very word Adhyasa, it is used here. Loko hi avidyaya swatmani adhyastaya. That is swa atmani adhyastaya avidyaya. That anvaya is like that. Swa atmani, that means in one's self. Adhyastaya avidyaya. This avidya is something which is adhyasta. Adhyasta means adhyasa has been done. When adhyasa is done, it is called adhyasta. So adhyasa, then what is adhyasa? Adhyasa means adhi plus asa. Asa means to be. Adhi plus asa. To put something on something else. To keep something on something else is adhyasa. That is to look at something as something else. You look at an object, but then you don't look at the real nature. You don't see the real nature of that object. You look at it as something else. That is what is adhyasa. In Shankaracharya, in fact, his opening lines again in Brahma Sutra Bhashya are the same thing. What he says is, what is that? Say, Yushmad Asmat Pratyaya Gocharayoho Vishaya Vishayunoho Itaretara Tamah Prakashavad Viruddha Swabhavayoho Itaretara Bhava Anupapattau Siddhayam. It goes a very, very long line. He goes on like that. Tamah Prakashavad Viruddha Swabhavayoho Itaretara Anupapattau Siddhayam Tad Dharmanam Api Sutaram Itaretara Dhyasa Anupapattihi. So Itaretara Bhava Anupapattihi. So like that it goes on. So what it means is Yushmat Asmat Pratyaya Gochara. So the basic thing in the whole universe is, according as analyzed by this Advaita, is Yushmat Pratyaya and Asmat Pratyaya. Asmat, you know what is this Asmat Pratyaya? Asmat means I, Aham. Aham is that Asmat Pratyaya is Aham. Yushmat is you. You means not only you, anything which can be separated from me. Anything which can be seen apart from me. You does not mean a human being or a living being. You means anything which can be separated from me, which can be seen apart from me. I can look at my own body and say, oh, you hand. Can't I? You can do that. Poetically, you can say, oh, you leg, oh, you hand. You can say like that. So this body is something which is called Idam Pratyaya. This Yushmat Pratyaya and Idam Pratyaya is all one and the same in the context of Vedanta. So there is what is called Asmat Pratyaya and Yushmat Pratyaya. That is the one which is called I, the one which is called you or this or that. So Idam. So all this thing which can be designated as something apart from me is that Idam. And what is it that is designated apart from me? All that is a Drushyam, that which is seen by me. I is the seer. And I am seeing everything else. So all other things, this is all Drushyam. So Drushyam's characteristics are different from these characteristics of the seer. So these two cannot be mixed up. Itaretara bhava anupapattihi. Itaretara bhava means this cannot be that and that cannot be this. That is Itaretara bhava. Itaretara bhava means this can be that or this A can be B and B can be A. That is Itaretara bhava. Here in this context, Itaretara bhava anupapattihi, that is A cannot be B and B cannot be A. The seer is something different and the seen is always something different. That is the meaning of that Yushmad Asmat Pratyayoho Vishaya Vishayinoho. One is a Vishaya, one is an object, one is a Vishayi, one is that which is seeing an object. So that is that Vishayinoho. Tamah Prakashavad Viruddha Swabhavayoho. They are having different, they are totally having different or opposite characteristics like darkness and light. Viruddha Swabhavayoho Itaretara Bhava Anupapattau Siddhayam. So that is what it goes on. And he says, what is that Adhyasa? And that thing, the time is over? Just over. So in that thing he says, Adhyasona konama adhyasaha. What is that adhyasa? What is that meaning of what you say, what you call adhyasa? He says, Atasmin tadbuddhihi. Atasmin tadbuddhihi means you see something as something else. That is what is, then why is he saying that? That is, you are looking at yourself as a limited being. You are looking at yourself as a parichinna. You are looking at yourself as a body-mind complex, whereas you are not parichinna. You are an aparichinna. You are that supreme Brahman. So that is what the Upanishad is saying. That is what is the whole message of the Vedanta. So that is what he goes on to explain. So here again, so there is some brief discussion about what is Adhyasa. We will see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi.